If you're a man over 60 and you've started to feel like your body isn't quite listening the way it used to, I want you to hear this. You are not broken. You are not weak, and you are definitely not alone. For many of my patients, the first signs are subtle: a sluggish morning, a moment of hesitation in the bedroom, a feeling that somehow their energy, their connection to their own body has quietly faded. They don't come in complaining of illness. They come in saying things like, "Doc, I don't feel like myself anymore," and not because of pain, but because of absence, the absence of clarity, of desire, of that steady confidence that once lived in their bones. And the most tragic part, most men believe this decline is normal. They think it's just part of aging, something to silently accept. But I'm here to tell you a different story, one that might surprise you and even give you hope. You can improve male performance after 60, naturally, gently, and without shame. My name is Dr. William Harris. I'm a board-certified urologist based in Austin, Texas, for over 35 years. I've worked with men just like you, men who still care about being present in their lives, with their partners and in their own skin. And I've seen something most people, even many doctors, don't talk about. There are natural, powerful ways to support your body's performance without pills, without pressure, and without pretending to be 30 again. This video isn't about quick fixes. It's not about six-pack abs or magic supplements. It's about something much more meaningful. Reconnection. Reconnection to your strength. Reconnection to your confidence. Reconnection to the man you still are and the life you still want to live. Today, I'm going to walk you through some of the most effective natural methods to improve male performance after 60. These are approaches that honor your body's changes while helping you feel strong, energized, and in control again. No gimmicks, no judgment, just truth, experience, and care. So if that sounds like the conversation you've been waiting for, I invite you to like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and type "still strong" in the comments to let me know you're still here, still showing up, and still walking this road. Now, let's begin with a truth most men have never been told. Improving performance doesn't begin in the bedroom, it begins from within. Let's talk about that. Before we dive into the specifics, let me share something I've learned after decades of working with men just like you. The path to better performance doesn't start with a pill. It starts with presence, with quiet, consistent care, and more often than not, it begins not in the bedroom or the gym, but in the kitchen. That's right. What you put on your plate each day sends a powerful message to your body. So if you've been wondering how to improve male performance naturally, the first step might be simpler and more nourishing than you think. Let's begin there. Let me share something most men are never told. The way your body performs after 60 isn't just about age. It's about how you're feeding that body day after day. You see, after 6 decades of hard work, raising families, building careers, carrying responsibilities, your body has earned a different kind of care. And one of the most powerful, most overlooked forms of care is nutrition. Not the kind of nutrition that's about counting calories or chasing trends, but the kind that quietly supports your hormones, your circulation, your sense of clarity. The kind that whispers to your body, you still matter, as testosterone begins its slow, natural decline. Your body's needs change. What once kept you going at 40 might no longer serve you at 65. That morning plate of white toast and bacon, that endless coffee refill, it might be doing more harm than good, silently draining the vitality you're trying to reclaim. I remember Alan, 69 years old, former firefighter, proud husband and grandfather. He sat across from me, his voice steady, but his eyes unsure. "Doc," he said, "I still want to feel close to my wife, but it's like my body forgot how." We didn't start with prescriptions or procedures. We started with his plate. Small shifts, a little more color from dark leafy greens, a little more light from fresh salmon, walnuts, and beets, foods rich in natural compounds that support blood flow and hormone production. And just as important, a little less of the processed, salty, sugary fillers that had quietly crept in over the years. After a few weeks, Alan came back, standing just a little taller. "I didn't change everything," he said, "but I feel different, more here." That's the power of nourishment. It's not about overhauling your life. It's about honoring it with every bite, every meal, every quiet decision to care. Because when your body feels supported, truly supported, it starts to respond. Not overnight, not with fireworks, but with subtle, steady strength, and that strength becomes the foundation for confidence, for clarity, for connection. Now, eating well is a powerful start, but nutrition alone can only take you so far because performance, real, lasting performance, also depends on something even more immediate, movement. And not the kind that leaves you breathless or sore, but the kind that brings you back into rhythm with your own body. Let's talk about that next. There's something deeply underrated about gentle movement. Not the kind that makes you sweat through your shirt. Not the kind that pushes your limits or punishes your joints. I'm talking about the kind of movement that feels like a quiet conversation with your body. You see, most men over 60 think that to improve performance, whether it's physical, emotional, or intimate, they need to work harder. But after more than 35 years of listening to patients, I've found that it's often the opposite. It's not about working harder. It's about moving with more presence. Let me tell you about Ernest. He's 71, a retired fire captain. Used to be the guy everyone called Iron Man. But when he came to my office last fall, he didn't feel strong anymore. Doc, he said, I sit more than I move these days. My legs feel heavy. My mind feels foggy. And intimacy, well, it's like my body forgot how. I asked him what his daily routine looked like. He shrugged. Coffee, breakfast, maybe a crossword. Then I sit, watch TV, maybe walk to the mailbox if it's not raining. And that right there, that pause in movement, was the key. You see, performance after 60 isn't just about hormones or muscles. It's about circulation, and not just blood, but energy, breath, rhythm. When you move, even gently, especially gently, you remind your body that you're still here, and more importantly, that you still care. We started Ernest with one simple thing. Each morning, before coffee, he put on some soft music and walked slowly around his living room. 10 minutes, that's it. He'd swing his arms lightly, roll his shoulders, breathe deeper than usual, and do it not to get a workout, but to get reconnected. After 2 weeks, he returned and said something I'll never forget. Doc, I feel warmer, not just in my body, but in my mood, like my cells are waking up again. That's the power of daily, intentional movement. It's not about exercise. It's about engagement. When blood begins to flow again, gently, steadily, your brain lights up. Your heart feels lighter. And yes, the parts of you that had gone quiet begin to stir again. And the science backs it up. Studies show that even light movement, like walking, arm swings, or gentle stretches, can increase nitric oxide production, improve vascular health, and support erectile function in older men. But here's what I think matters most. When you move each day, with intention, with presence, you send a quiet message to your nervous system. I'm safe. I'm here. I'm not giving up. And that message, it changes everything. So if you've been feeling stagnant, heavy, or emotionally distant, try moving, not to burn calories, but to wake up your connection. Because sometimes, the best way to improve performance isn't through strain. It's through rhythm. And that brings me to the next quiet pillar of male vitality, one most men ignore, but none can thrive without: rest, recovery, and the kind of sleep that actually restores you. Let's talk about that. I still remember a man named Leonard, 73 years old, former firefighter, strong as an ox in his prime. When he first sat in my office, he looked at me with tired eyes and said, Doc, I'm doing everything right. I'm eating clean. I'm walking every day. I'm even doing those schedules you taught me, but I still feel off, like my engine never fully starts. We talked for a while. I asked about his evenings, his routine, his sleep. He chuckled and said, Sleep? I don't have time for that. I'm up past midnight watching the news, then tossing and turning till 3 and up again by 6. That's just how it is at this age, right? That's when I had to gently tell Leonard the truth. A truth most men never hear. Sleep isn't optional. It's essential, especially after 60. You see, most people think of sleep as rest, a passive break from life. But in reality, sleep is where the body rebuilds, where hormones regulate, where the nervous system recalibrates, and yes, where male performance begins. In fact, deep sleep is the only time your body produces the majority of its testosterone, the very hormone that fuels energy, confidence, focus, and intimacy. When sleep becomes fragmented, shallow, or inconsistent, the natural production drops, and what follows is a quiet unraveling, lower drive, slower recovery, mood swings. Even foggier mornings. It's not weakness. It's biology. And the good news is, it's fixable. I gave Leonard one challenge. Not another supplement. Not another set of exercises. Just this. On your evenings. That night, instead of falling asleep to cable news, he turned off all screens. At 9 p.m., he dimmed the lights in the house. He did 5 minutes of deep breathing while lying in bed. Nothing fancy. Just a slow inhale through the nose, a long exhale through the mouth. It felt awkward at first, he told me, but after a week, he began waking up, ready, not young, but present, alert, connected. His words still stick with me, Doc. I didn't need more effort. I needed better recovery, and that's the heart of it. As men age, we don't just need to push harder, we need to recover smarter, because performance isn't just built in the gym or the kitchen. It's rebuilt every single night in the quiet rhythm of sleep. So if you're watching this and you've been feeling foggy, distant, or like you're doing all the right things but still not feeling yourself, pause for a moment. Ask yourself honestly, are you giving your body a real chance to repair? Are you treating sleep like a luxury or like the medicine it truly is? If the answer is the latter, start small, wind down an hour before bed, no screens. Dim the lights to signal your brain it's time to sleep. Try deep breathing for seconds in, 6 seconds out. Go to bed by 10:30 if you can. The body loves rhythm. And above all, treat your sleep like you treat your strength, with intention, because when you do, everything begins to shift. The body starts responding, the mind clears, and slowly, the man you thought you lost begins to return. Now, having talked about rest and recovery, let's turn to one of the most surprising yet overlooked drivers of male performance, your emotional connection to your body, and how presence, not pressure, rewires everything. Let's take a look. Let me ask you something that most men over 60 rarely hear. When was the last time you felt truly at home in your body? Not just pain-free, not just functional, but connected, present, like your body wasn't a burden to carry, but a part of you that still listened, still responded, still mattered. I had a patient. His name was Dennis. He's 74, widowed, quiet, used to run marathons in his 40s. When he walked into my office, he didn't complain of pain or illness. He just looked tired, not in his muscles, but in his spirit. He said, "Doc, I feel like I'm living from the neck up, like the rest of me is just tagging along." That is disconnection. It is more common than most people realize. You see, after 60, many men begin to lose touch with their own bodies, not because they don't care, but because life pulls them into their heads. Worries about finances, family, health, grief, loss, or simply the grind of daily routine. The body becomes background noise until one day it stops responding the way you expect and you feel betrayed. But the truth is, your body didn't betray you. It just got quiet, waiting for you to notice again. There's a very real science behind this. When we live in a state of chronic stress, when cortisol runs high and nervous tension lingers, it actually numbs our internal awareness. We stop sensing our breath, our posture, our hunger, even our arousal. And over time, this emotional distance becomes physical disconnection. But here's the good news. That connection can be rebuilt. Not with a pill, not with punishment, but with presence. For Dennis, we didn't start with exercise or diet. We started with a daily ritual called the shower reset. Each morning, he'd step into the warm water and take one full minute to simply be present, to feel the water on his shoulders, to breathe slow and deep, to place one hand on his chest and the other on his belly, and just feel. No fixing, no judgment, just one quiet moment of saying to himself, "I'm still here. This is still my body." He came back 3 weeks later and said, "Doc, I'm starting to feel something again. Not fireworks, but warmth, awareness, like I'm in the room again." That's not small. That's the foundation of everything, because male performance, the real kind, doesn't start in the groin. It starts in your relationship with your body, and that relationship begins with attention. So if you've been feeling numb, distant, or like you're just going through the motions, try it. 1 minute in the shower, a deep breath before bed, a hand on your own chest when you wake up. Not to fix anything, but to remember something. And as you reconnect, gently, slowly, honestly, you may just notice that your body begins to respond. Now that we've explored the deeper emotional roots of performance, let's take one final step. Together, In our closing reflections, I want to show you why the most powerful thing you can do, starting today, isn't about changing your body, but how you show up for it. Let me leave you with this, my friend. If you've been watching this far, chances are something in today's video struck a chord. Maybe it was the quiet reminder that you're not alone. Maybe it was the realization that your body hasn't betrayed you. It's just been waiting for you to come back, to listen again, to care again. We've covered a lot today, from how blood flow, hormones, and nervous system rhythms shape male performance after 60, to how simple, natural choices can begin to restore that vital sense of connection. But if you remember just one thing, let it be this: you are not defined by what your body can or cannot do. You are defined by how you show up, with presence, with curiosity, with a willingness to begin again. I've seen hundreds of men in their 60s, 70s, even 80s, come into my office with slumped shoulders and quiet shame, convinced they lost it. And what I always tell them is this: you haven't lost it. You've just lost touch. And the good news? Touch can be restored, slowly, gently, day by day. You don't need a miracle pill. You don't need to chase your 30-year-old self. You just need to choose presence, to move with intention, to breathe with awareness, and to treat your body not like a machine to be fixed, but like a partner to be respected. Because performance isn't a destination. It's a reflection of how well you're listening, responding, and connecting to yourself and the people you love. So if something in this video gave you a little hope, or reminded you of something you've forgotten, or simply helped you feel seen, even just for a moment, then I'd be honored if you do one small thing, like this video, not for me, but so another man out there who's been quietly struggling can find his way back to. Leave a comment, even just a word like present or still here, as your way of saying, I'm still in this. And if you know someone, a brother, a friend, a neighbor, whom I need to hear this, send it to them, privately, quietly, with care, because no man should walk this road alone. And if no one's told you this recently, let me be the one. You still matter. You're still here. And your body is still listening. Take care of it. Take care of you. And I'll be right here in every message, every video, walking this journey with you, one breath, one small step at a time.